To find out if the analyst desk agrees as they talk about G2's first win here of the tournament.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. G2 finding their first win of the tournament. However,
no dress for you.
That's very
You're
true.
a little bit
Two
relieved.
wins basically today.
You escaped that that fate, but it did not come easy for G2 here. So let's kind of jump into it because not pretty by any means.
No, and we didn't expect it to be pretty or easy or anything. Honestly, I felt this was a 50-50 between these two teams. I think SuperMassive, honestly, can be a bit disappointed because they are now facing a team like G2 who's looking, you know, honestly like a bad team. So them not being able to tie SKT for 4th place is really, really bad for them, obviously. But it's important for G2 to pick up a win, some confidence. No one was smiling, though, after the game. It's just kind of like, we had to win this game, sure. But there's still so many more games to come now, and there's so many problems still.
So let's dive into it a little bit. Picks and bans up on your screen right now. I mean, Spawn mentioned it. SuperMassive opting to go for that kind of 1-3-1 double teleport with the global pressure of the TF, but playing the lane swap out.
And I like their idea, you know, going for this global comp versus a team that has shown communication issues. You know, G2, the biggest criticism, they weren't working as a team. They weren't communicating things, and they were over-chasing. So something that will punish them as a TF comp.
Yeah, it's a great composition against G2 right now. And it honestly looked good if we look at the separate parts of the game, but if we look at the entire game, and especially, you know, some of the late game decisions, there were some random teleports, there were some random engages from Naro as well, which often ended up being like 1-for-1, instead of actually them relaxing a little bit and realizing they had so much global pressure. They just kind of opted into the chaos.
It really was a good comp just because that G2 is so punishable. They chase so many things down, like Kiki's going into the bot lane a little bit. And then when they set up a dragon fight, they had that in their hands. They had the better team fight composition, and they went for a chase against a double global TP comp, and they got 4-for-1.
Right.
And that's where like the Turkish team got most of their lead that game.
Yeah, and if played out correctly, could have ended after that Baron take for the Turkish team. Now, granted, G2 did pick it back up. So now I want to talk about how they got themselves back into it. I mean, they did have, luckily, enough scaling in the Azir to be able to put out the damage late game, and the double life steal from Kalista coming in very handy with securing as well Barons and Dragons, so there are no potentials for steals.
Yeah, they kind of realized that when Dragon was alive, you didn't have to like try and create a pick first. If you are G2, you can actually just walk to the Dragon, and then you are grouped together, and you want that 5-on-5 team fight where SuperMassive has to like engage on you. So they managed to kind of figure it out during the game. They slowed down at least. It seemed like suddenly they actually realized we can win this game. We saw the player camps, the players were talking much more to each other. It still was a messy affair, but at least there was some communication going on. SuperMassive, though, I actually feel like, as we said before, they kind of wasted too many global cooldowns, which allowed G2 to then start grouping up.
They also had some mechanical misplays. Stomaged on the Kindred a couple of times, walking out of his own ultimate, and actually costing him his life in some crucial moments.
Yeah, very, very much so. And at the end of the day, I feel like if there's another criticism to throw at SuperMassive is that as G2 slowed down and started to communicate more, SuperMassive felt the need to speed up.
Right.
And that's where we did see some of those kind of reaching plays. Like, oh, let's get the pick 30 seconds before the dragon is up, our 5th dragon is up, as opposed to just finding the way to set up around that dragon and securing a 5th dragon for themselves.
I think their comp actually does well with picks.
Right.
It's just that they had these slim opportunities and they didn't work out that well. I think Kiki's actually showed up today. He played a much better game than like yesterday. He was matching the TF all the time, and that really slowed down a lot of the pushes.
All right, well, there you have it. G2 will be happy to have picked up the win, but they still need plenty more if they're going to move on to the bracket stages. Now we're going to send it over to Shox for a word with G2's man in the mid lane.
Thank you very much, Dash. Indeed, joined here by Perkz after a victory at MSI, but as you guys can also imagine, not overjoyed, even though you did get the victory. Perkz, there's a lot of information out there about the team, also a lot of speculation, and a statement that you guys put out. I don't want to focus on that, but I want to focus on you as a player and how I know you as a player from the European LCS. First, a reaction to winning, at least this first game, and how this might be a first step in winning a bit more here at MSI.
So this first win was really needed for us because we were in a slump and we are 0-4, so basically it's really bad for us, but we can still come back from it, and this game was not so good still, but at least we won, you know. So we got a bit of a confidence boost going into next games that we can win, For me as a player, I'm personally really disappointed right now with this tournament, but I think as time goes on, I think we can still come back and make it at least top 4 and then maybe even finals.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm confident that we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was trying to get at. You in the European LCS, you guys, of course, were the winners of the Spring Split, and you have always been a very confident player. So in my mind, you would be one of the people that would take losing here in the international stage the hardest, because you just beat Naru, but you're Perkz. You want to beat Faker. You want to beat Xiaohu. How have you been dealing with kind of maybe not being able to show? Or do you think that maybe you're just not ready for the big stage yet?
I actually think that I don't think that I played that bad any games. I just think that we got outclassed by every other team so far, except SuperMassive, so I couldn't really do anything in the games. Maybe the games versus RNG, I could have done more, but they had so good team comp and we just got outscaled.
Yeah, however, in this game you said it was still hard. Did you feel anything of a click within the team? Because it seemed like the calls were clearer, the team fights started to go better for you guys. Hybrid had a great game as well. Did you feel a click that makes you think, you said you dropped top 4, which is very dangerous, of course, but that it would go better from now on?
Well, I can't say for sure, but if we beat RNG today,
yeah.
I think we will be top 4 for sure.
Tell me a little bit more about that match, because that was actually yesterday the closest game you had so far was the one versus RNG, but they do look undefeated, and they are undefeated, so why is it that you think that you can take them down?
I think yesterday the problem was the draft. They had so much better team comp, and then we just lost. But today, if we draft good and we outdraft them, I think we can take them down. Like, they're a really good team, but as you can see, this whole tournament is a bit of a mess. Like, everyone is winning versus everyone, and it's clown fiesta, yeah.
Are you a bit surprised by the fact that it is that aggressive? However, if you look at RNG, they just know how to play team fights to a T, and that is very good gameplay in itself, or do you disagree?
Yeah, they're really strong mechanically and play team fights really good, and also they have so good support Mata, who is like carrying them up alone, I would say. But I'm a bit surprised that SKT got stomped by RNG. Basically, I mean, it was like 60 minutes game because SKT is still a really good team, but then today they lost to CLG too, so I think SKT is in a slump too, which makes this tournament a bit more interesting, because I would expect SKT to stomp everyone. Doesn't
that make it maybe a little more bittersweet for you guys? Like, if you were at the top of your game, you were saying 2 weeks ago, and you see how open this tournament is, it feels kind of like a lost chance.
Maybe, yeah, but nothing I can do now.
Yeah, well, in the end, you said it as well, you think that things are starting to start better. Do you also have a feeling of kind of like, for the fans, we need to win this next couple of games as well as for yourself?
Yeah, for me personally, I'm really sad that we go 0-4 because fans support me a lot, and if I do bad, then it means that I don't deserve that support or something, so I really want to win.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for talking to me here. G2 pulling out a win at MSI. And our next game coming up will be the World Champions. They are now 0-3 over their last 3 games, SKT. They will be going up against the Flash Wolves in that rematch from yesterday. The pressure is on Faker and the World Champions to make it happen here. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is the best wildcard team we have ever seen, really living up to their name and showing that they can take anyone out yesterday. And they're looking to do it again.
Here comes the rest of G2. That was a great cosmic binding. A reply back from G2. Emperor's Divide won't knock anyone away, but it won't be needed. Chrono Break to keep Thaldron alive. Buy some hit points. He should get taken down, and he will by the collateral damage. It's Kikis that gets a kill secure. Stomage is caught amongst a plethora of G2 members, and the Emperor's Divide sends SuperMassive into G2's waiting hands. G2 eSports had to dig real deep to take down Turkey's SuperMassive.